Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers. So, we are 2 weeks away from Jodie Whittaker's big finale as the 13th Doctor. So, for today and next Sunday, I'm going to be releasing a 2-part series where I'm actually going to be ranking all of the Doctor's regeneration. So, in part 1, I'm going to be ranking all of classic Doctor Who, and I'm going to be adding a little bit of a big finish audio in this one as well, which you're going to find out a bit later on. And then part 2, which is coming out next Sunday, I'm going to talk about the main regenerations from the modern series, like for Night of the Doctor, Day of the Doctor, and then I'm talking about the full-on regeneration stories as well. So, let's dive into classic Doctor Who. So, in number 8, it's Time and Irani. Now, Time and Irani does suffer a lot of backlash. Now, I'm going to talk about this because technically there's 2 versions of this, basically 3, if you include the higher up one. But Time and Irani, the story was actually written for Colin Baker, because this was actually going to be Colin Baker's finale as the 6th Doctor, because the 6th Doctor was originally going to regenerate at the end of this story, but because Colin Baker said no, they had to rechange the script to making the regeneration happen at the beginning of the season and the beginning of the story, instead of it happening at the end of the story, and again, the rest of the season carrying out with Sylvester McCoy. So, Time and Irani does suffer with that, and you can really tell it was actually supposed to be a Colin Baker story, but Colin Baker said no to it. I have to admit, the regeneration effect, when you watch the original version, it is a bit goofy looking. I mean, you can actually just tell it is Sylvester McCoy in Colin Baker's outfit with a blonde curly wig on. And you can actually tell, oh yeah, look, it's just McCoy. But you can actually say, you know what, it's the Doctor basically in mid-regeneration, so his new face is starting to show through. You can kind of say it that way. But if you watch it in the season 24 box set with the new version, yeah, that's 10 times better, you know, because they've actually kind of done it where you see a bit of Colin Baker's face morphing into McCoy's face. So, yeah, that's the Blu-ray box set really does save this for me. But for Classic Who, it's got to be the worst regeneration scene. The story, on the other hand, it's pretty much okay. It's not good. It's not bad. It's actually pretty decent. I'm going to admit that. It's pretty decent. I like the fact we got Kate O'Mara back as the Irani. And I would have loved if they had more stories with her and Sylvester McCoy as the Doctor and the Irani. More stories for them two to battle against each other. I do like the tent traps. I really think the tent traps are a good design. They are. You can actually tell this is Doctor Who from the way they're looking. I mean, if I was going to say who's got the actual best kind of like alien looking outfits, it's got to be the Locutions from this story, where the tent traps are kind of look like these big bat creatures. Instead of having like 2 eyes like a normal bat, they got 4 eyes, where they got one in the top, one here, they got 2 at the side, and then you got 1 at the back of the head. Yeah, I'm sorry to say that. So, number 7, we are jumping into the TV movie now. So this one, I do class this as Classic Who, as the BBC does, where some people class it as part of New Who. I actually class this as part of Classic Who because it has been released on DVD in the Classic Who style. TV movie, what can I say about the actual proper regeneration effect? Well, it's brilliant. I actually do like the way they kind of got the Doctor like kind of like pulling faces to regenerate into Paul McGann's 8th Doctor. The story plot, really, it's okay for me. I really enjoy it. It's not the best, like some people. I've seen YouTubers literally put down the TV movie, but I'm not one of them. I don't really put down this because I enjoy it for what it is. It's the thing, the TV movie, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I just really enjoy this one for what it is, because Doctor Who's been off the air since 1989, so this is the way of them trying to like bring it back and make it as a pilot. So it is okay. I like the fact we've got Eric Robert as the Master. I actually like him as Bruce, but he is a bit campy-ish as the Master. Joke later on Destroy with Paul McGann. But the actual regeneration effect does actually really stand out of the movie. I really do like the regeneration effect. So, number 6, we are going back to the original story, aka the 10th Planet. Now, if I'm going to talk about the whole regeneration effect, yeah, it's actually pretty decent. I like the whole regeneration effect. I like the way how they kind of like got it into different like, of course it's in black and white, but you kind of have like this kind of white outing around Hartnell's face, and then you can kind of see it morphing into Troughton's face at the end of the 10th Planet episode 4. The animation makes it look a bit more better, but if you watch the actual proper regeneration clip that survives still, I believe, thanks to Blue Peter back in the 70s, I think. It's like you can actually see how good it was, and the animation just really does try and stick up to that. And I just absolutely do enjoy the way the whole regeneration of the morph between Hartnell's Doctor and Charlton's Doctor kind of like morphs. So, and this was the very first ever regeneration. And this aired back in 1966. And for me, I'm going to say it pretty much stands out on its own. It's the first story for the Cybermen as well. Hartnell, you can really tell he's very ill at this point because in episode 3, he's not in it. Hartnell's not really in episode 3, where he is in episodes 1, 2, and 4. But with part 4 missing and it has been animated, you know, the animation does make it stand out as a full-on story. And yeah, why not? So, number 5. What can I say about the 5th story in number 5 of Classic Who? I'm sorry to say this. It's Legopolis. Yes, I know, it's my favourite Doctor's final outing. And, yeah, you know, it's the end and the moment's been prepared for. I do like this story, but not as much as the next top 5. Sorry, the next 4. I really enjoy the next 4 a lot more. This one is in 5th place for me. I enjoy it. Now, yeah, it's very kind of like in a depressing sort of story. I like the fact we've got the Watcher there. It's got the Master in it. And basically the 4th Doctor saves the whole universe from the Master. And basically he ends up dying by falling off a radio telescope. And basically makes him regenerate into his 5th incarnation. But for me to say what I really enjoy about Legopolis is the fact that we have like some callbacks to the main villains of Tom Baker's run. We have his companions in like a little bit of a flashback. And of course we have an epic regeneration. Plus it's a very odd regeneration out if you look at out of it of all of the Doctors. So what can I say about the flashbacks kind of stuff? I love the fact when the Doctor's there hanging, we got the Deadly Assassin's Master, we've got a Zygon, we've got Michael Wish's Davros, we've got a Dalek, we've got a Cyberman, and a Santaran, and of course the Black Guardian. And then the 4th Doctor does fall off. And then of course when you kind of got him laying there, and all his companions will go around him. And then of course we see Sarah Jane, we see Harry, we see the Brigadier, we see Leela, K9 Mark 1, and I think K9 Mark 2 as well. And of course we see Romana 1 and Romana 2. And then you go and you kind of hear Adric's voice calling the Doctor. And I love Tom Baker's final line. It's a lot better than Tennant's final line. I mean, Tennant, I don't want to go. Tom Baker's, it's the end. The moment has been prepared for. Yay, Tom, you had such a better final line than David Tennant, which is why Tom Baker gets an absolutely thumbs up for this one. Because his whole line is literally, it's the end, but the moment's been prepared for. When you get to David Tennant's, I don't want to go. Let off. I got a few problems with Tennant's final line, but Tom Baker's final line, it's amazing. It's brilliant. I mean, come on. It's the end, and the moment's been prepared for. And then the Watcher walks through his body, triggers the regeneration process, and he regenerates into his 5th incarnation. Yes, Legopolis is literally a brilliant story. I absolutely love the regeneration. It's not good as some of my top ones, but I have to admit, I really enjoy this one. And if I was going to compare this one to The End of Time, this one wins it by a shot because Tom Baker just has a final epic last line. It's the end and the moment has been prepared for. A lot better than, I don't want to go. Say? Boom. Yes. Number 4, we're going into Big Finish, and this story is called The Blink of Death, which you can only get in Doctor Who, the 6th Doctor's last adventure. So the 6th Doctor has a final battle with his dark alter ego, the Valeyard. And of course, it leads in to Time and Irani. This is a whopping brilliant story for the 6th Doctor, and it really gives the 6th Doctor such a fantastic bow out in the role. It really gives Colin Baker a fantastic bow out. And of course we do kind of hear McCoy's face saying, yes, I will regenerate. My future is in very safe hands. Because it's an audio, you can't really see the regeneration, but you kind of do see it in Time and Irani. But for me to say, for the story-wise, this one really makes it stand out a lot because Colin Baker's brilliant in it. We've got the Valeyard in it. It's a big, massive battle between the Doctor and the Valeyard. Plus, it does actually lead into Time and Irani. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. I absolutely love it. So, number 3, talking about my third favourite regeneration from classic Doctor Who, it's the War Games. You know this one. It's amazing. I absolutely love the War Games. I mean, the fact we've got Patrick Troughton in this, we got the Warlords, we've kind of got everything going through different times because the Warlords have gone around kidnapping humans from the Roman times, the Scottish times, World War I, and I believe World War II as well. Not too sure about that one. I think it's just World War I. World War I. Ignore me. But because every time the Doctor's literally escaping, getting caught, escaping, getting caught, and even though he finds out that a Time Lord is behind this, aka the War Chief, he has no option but to call the Time Lords, and because he's on the run from the Time Lords himself, he tries to run away from them. Yes, the second Doctor is basically trying to run away from the Time Lords with Zoe and Jamie, but they kind of get caught and they do break through a little bit, and the Time Lords capture them, putting the second Doctor on trial. And how does he regenerate? Does he regenerate by being shot at by the Time Lords? Does he regenerate being hit on the head? No, actually, he's forced to regenerate. The Time Lords actually trial the Doctor, put him into trial, decide to exile him to Earth, and force a regeneration upon him. And of course, the second Doctor basically does his best to try and fight it by basically going up when he's been shown and going, "Oh, he's too old. Oh, he's too fat, ain't he? He's too thin. Oh, no, we're doing at all. This is not good at all. This is a bunch of rejects." He goes, I absolutely love the way how the War Games really does pan out for Troughton's Doctor. It's amazing. I absolutely do like the War Games. And the fact is, though, when you kind of got like 4 versions of Patrick Troughton, and they're just kind of like swirling around, and he goes, "I say, what's happening? The time has come for you to change your appearance, Doctor, and to begin your exile." And his final line is no, 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 no. Epic final line. Not as good as Tom Baker's final line. I might actually do a ranking video for each Doctor's final line. But I really have to admit, I just love the War Games. It's brilliant. So, number 2. What is my second favourite story for regeneration in classic Doctor Who? It's Planet of the Spiders. Honestly, this one gives John Pertwee's Doctor a fantastic bowl out. I absolutely love the fact his regeneration is pretty good as well. Pretty quick as well. Pretty decent. You know, his Doctor does kind of die from radiation poisoning by the Metebelis crystals on Metebelis 3, which basically was took over by a big giant spider. So how do they really give John Pertwee a really good bowl out? Well, we have a fantastic chase scene between Unit, the Doctor, and of course Lutton, by using the Humobile, the Bessie, the third Doctor's car, and of course the helicopter. And an epic boat chasing scene as well, with the third Doctor and Lytton, the way he's literally just there chasing after Lytton. Then of course Sarah Jane basically gets transmatted to Metebelis 3. The Doctor goes after her, and of course basically gives the spiders what they want, and basically kills the great healer, the all pray the great one, by the Metebelis crystal, but it gives him radiation poisoning. And of course his final line is a tear, Sarah Jane. Now don't cry, don't cry. While there's life, and he just dies on that spot. And then of course we have another little Time Lord coming along to help him, saying, "I shall give his cells a little push and he will become a new man." Literally, he might look quite different. Not again. I love where he vanishes, and then Sarah Jane literally gets like to the Brigadier going, "Look, Brigadier, look, it's starting." And then of course the Brigadier goes, "Well, here we go again." And then literally got that music going, doo 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 doo, and you have John Pertwee morphing into Tom Baker. I really do love that morphing effect, and the music does help it as well. So, number 1, what is the best story from a regeneration point of view for classic Doctor Who? Well, it's the Caves of Androzani, people. You can't go better than the Caves of Androzani. This is the best regeneration story out of all of them, if you include Modern Who in this. The 5th Doctor goes out as a hero. He literally sacrifices his own life to save a girl he's only just met. Yes, he has only just met Perry, and he sacrifices his own life to save her. I'm not going to dive too much into the story because I always talk about how great this story is. It's in my top 20 video, it's in my actual review of this one, and it's in my top 5 Peter Davison stories as well. I'm not diving into this one because it is just a brilliant regeneration story. The Doctor don't do much. He goes to a planet and he's literally just there trying to find a way out, trying to get out of the situation and everything. And then, of course, he gets caught up in it. He gets spectrotoxemia, and basically that is another type of poison. the only cure for the poison is bat's milk, but he gives the bat's milk to his companion Perry, and you do kind of think the Doctor's going to die because he goes, "Is this death?" And she goes, "Doctor, you can't let me know." He goes, "I might regenerate. I don't know. Feels different this time." But then when you kind of have that mid-regeneration thing where you got like the companions with Nyssa, Tegan, Adric, Chameleon, and Tarlo, and then of course you got the Master's face coming up saying, "Die, Doctor. Die, Doctor. Ha 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 ha." And then you kind of got Colin Baker literally warping out of it and goes, and Perry goes, "Doctor, you're expecting someone else? Aye, that's 3 eyes and 1 breath. Evil to stick with you, young lady. Well been changed, my dear. And it seems not a moment too soon." So this is me ranking all of the regeneration stories part 1 and this is classic Doctor Who. So what is your favourite classic Doctor Who's regeneration? Is it the 10th Planet? Is it the War Games? Is it the Planet of the Spiders? Is it Legopolis? Is it the Caves of Androsani? Is it Time in Irani, the TV movie? Or if you're going to add big finishing to this, is it of course the Blink of Death? Let me know in the comments. Please do like, subscribe and share, and join for more awesome Doctor Who content. Have a cracking day tomorrow, and join me for next Sunday when I'm going to be ranking modern Doctor Who's regenerations. Thank you for watching.